Hello! I want to thank you so much for joining me a couple of weeks ago for my first webinar to help me work through some of the material for the new book. And I want to let you know personally that I am going to be hosting a second event on Monday, June 1st. You might get the general invitation through the newsletter list, but I also wanted to send you one with a special note of thanks for coming last time and just how valuable your feedback and just your presence was to me, which doesn't pressure you to join me this time, of course, but I did want to just send a very special message to you. So on June 1st, it's a Monday, again at 9:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to do part 2, which, as I realize in hindsight, is actually more perhaps part 1, because I want to back up the bus a little bit and talk a bit more about brain development, and help us to understand a little bit more together about why you might do those things you do. We're going to talk about life events, upbringing. We're going to talk about genetics and just how the brain wires, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you can start to consider if you're finding yourself wanting to make some changes about your behavior. So things like we'll talk about certain foods and substances that are really helpful to modify brain chemistry, and certain patterns that might be well worn again from childhood or significant developmental times. We'll also talk about certain pharmaceuticals and other substances that you can use that have some really good proven efficacy right now that really do help to press the reset button on the brain as opposed to just help to kind of stave off certain feelings. A lot of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications really just help to stop the flow of cortisol, but they don't actually change the wiring of the brain. And that's why often when we come off those medications, the problems resurface, or we find ourselves needing to go back on in time. And there are some really excellent developments in pharmaceuticals and off-label treatments that are showing a wonderful effect at actually reprogramming the brain when combined with some of the steps that I teach, some of the more cognitive, behavioral, self-awareness, self-compassion, and empathy pieces. It's really a powerful tool that creates lasting change. So that's what I want to talk with you about. If you can join me on Monday, June 1st at 9:30. There's a link to register somewhere in this message. I'll make sure I send one. And if you can't come, but you'd like to make sure that you get the replay, just register anyway, and that way you'll be on the list to receive the replay when it's done. If you have any questions or anything that you're hoping that I cover that's associated with this topic, it would be very beneficial for me for you to let me know ahead of time, and I'll do my best to work those into the presentation. And I think that's about it. So thanks for taking the time to watch this message. I hope you can join me on June 1st at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if not, do sign up if you'd like to be able to watch the webinar. And I just want to thank you so much for joining me last time. It's so incredibly helpful, and it just felt so nice to see your smiling, friendly faces. Of course, there'll be homework from this one as well, and you're welcome to send it to me just as you did last time. I really appreciated seeing where your mind went, literally, after that presentation and some of the things you learned over the course of the week of doing that homework assignment. So I look forward to seeing you on the 1st if you can make it, and if not, I'll certainly keep you posted about our next event, which will be on relationships. I want to run you through what I call the relationship equation, super simple strategy for just creating the healthiest relationship you possibly can and knowing you're doing your best. So see you soon, I hope. Bye.